For those of you with ADD, I flipped the case around from the last video. Go big or go home. That's the name of the game with this one. Sit tight, and I'll show you what's inside. So what do I have here? Same backdrop, because I'm recording all these at the same time, so please be patient with that. Please be patient with my horrible gimbal work. And this was the most impulse of impulse buys, but it's also the only gun that I own that saved my life. I know it sounds strange. So anyway, let's look inside, shall we? This is a monster. This is the Smith & Wesson M500-4, also known as the Backpacker. And this is a handful. This is a very, very large gun. Here, let me give you some scale. I'm 6'1", I weigh 200 pounds. This is your scale right here, okay? I have to use large grips because I have long fingers, as you can see. Anyway, this grip might look familiar if you remember the competitor video. This is where I got the inspiration to put them on all my wheel guns that are heavy recoiling. You also may notice that there's something going on with the cylinder. They're bear paws laser engraved on an unfluted, heavy cylinder. And you might be wondering, what in the hell is this? And why is there a line this far down? Because that's where the gas check is. Because these are 535 grain Ranger Ricks. I hand load these bullets. This is what I call my pet load. My light load are 335 grain Rainier plated bullets, and my dangerous animal load is a 700 grain, and they call it the T-Rex Thumper. And it looks just like this, but a little bit longer. The company I get these bullets through is called Matt's Bullets. I believe he's out in Arkansas. He makes all of these. He takes special requests for certain hardnesses too. He also carnauba waxes the lube grooves on some of his bullets, and he uses copper brass gas checks. So, that being said, if you are so inclined and you believe in the theory that assholes come in all sizes, he also makes a 630 grain Grand Canyon hollow point. That's what he calls them. Anyway, I don't carry this gun for self-defense here in South Texas. What I did do is I took this with me to Kodiak Island, Alaska. But I didn't carry this one the first time I went there. And in the next episode, you'll see the gun that this replaced. But this one actually saved my life. Imagine a young, much lighter weight, skinnier, impressionable, naive, stupid Pwnery decided to go fly fishing in a river, in waders, up to his waist. And his friend, who is a nature guide on the island, is about a mile or so upriver from you. And you're alone. And this is in a chest rig. And back then you had an iPhone 5 in a little pocket like an Oshkosh. And all the sounds of the woods are chirping and buzzing and squeaking around you. And you're not really catching anything because you suck at fishing. But suddenly you start to realize that the noises in the forest have gone deadly silent. There's not even wind to listen to. The only noise I could hear is the water passing around my waders, around my back. And water passing around something incredibly large somewhere behind me. So I turn around, and about 80 yards away upriver, I'm face to face with one of these, the Kodiak bear. And at first I just look at him, and he looks at me, and he doesn't stop pacing towards me. And then I drop the fishing rod, and he starts to accelerate. Now he's neck deep in water in some spots, and I'm fishing for this thing, and he's getting faster, and it's almost as if the water's not even an obstacle for him. So I get this out, and I have just enough time to cock the hammer for a single action shot, and I fire it off, and then you hear the birds freak out, and then you see the bear take a hit in the right shoulder, and he's still coming. So then I cock the hammer a second time, and I fire again, and it hits him somewhere, I think somewhere on the left flank, right around the left flank somewhere. And he's still coming, and he's not slowing down, and he's getting closer and closer and closer. The third shot, I didn't have time to cock the hammer. I just double actioned it because this thing is about 30 yards away from me. And third shot clips him right under the chin. And I'm already thinking, well, I guess this is how it ends for me. But clipped him under the chin, and I saw this giant spray of red behind his ears. And he just fell like a ton of bricks in the water, face down, about 30 feet away from me, 10 yards. And he's not moving. And by the time the third shot goes off, I can hear my friend the guide screaming in my direction. And I'm standing there, single action cocked, ready for a fourth shot, backing away slowly. And by the time my friend shows up, he says, "Are you okay?" I drop the gun in the river, and I fall and sit flat on my ass in the river. And now the water is up to my chin. And then I realized my phone was in the waders. There goes the photo op. So anyway, it took three trucks, 3 winches to pull out a waterlogged Kodiak bear. And by the time they got him out and all the water drained out of him, they measured the head. I think it was 36 or 38 inches wide. It's a big bear. They called him a winter bear because it was all fattened up. And it weighed something like 1,380 pounds. It was huge. The thing was the size of a Volkswagen. Or no, you know what's a fair estimate? It was the size of an original Cinquecento Fiat 500. It was about that size. But anyway, he calls the park ranger. Park ranger comes out. They take a statement. They ask me what I want to do with it. I'm like, I'm just a visitor here, but I'd like to eat it. If I shot it, I'd like to eat it. So they called a buddy of theirs who was a butcher, and we divvied it up amongst the 3 truck drivers, my friend the guide, the park ranger, and the game warden, and me. So it went like 6 or 7 ways. The butcher kept the pelt and the paws and the head, and then everyone divvied up the meat. I got a back strap, a set of ribs, and a shoulder roast. And I gotta tell you, he was delicious. Anyway, before the butcher did his thing, he checked out all the bullet wounds, and he was like, "Yep, your first 2 shots wouldn't have stopped him. He didn't hit anything vital." He goes, "That third one was pure luck, wasn't it?" And I said, "Yeah, I was terrified." What ended up happening was it went under his chin, through his throat, and severed his spine and popped out the back of his neck, and he fell face first in the water and essentially drowned, paralyzed. But yeah, that saved my life. And then I fished it out of the river, obviously, and oiled it and wiped it on down, took the grips off about 50 times just to make sure, took the cylinder out in the crane, and you know, just wouldn't give it a good once over. I've taken it to the range several times after that. It's perfectly fine. But anyway, story time over. Let's get to the actual review. So this is what's known as the M500-4 backpacker. It says that this is a 4-inch barrel from the forcing cone to here. And I'm here to tell you that's bullshit. This is a 3-inch barrel with a 1-inch compensator on the end. This compensator that you see here is attached with an Allen bolt here. And then the compensator twists 90 degrees and pops right out because it's keyed like an artillery breech. This particular brake, if you notice, has these large vents here, and there's holes up here, but they're plugged off. This brake here comes with the gun. It's made for cast lead bullets. The other brake has peppered holes here, and it opens the top vents as well for full metal jacket rounds. So it's kind of a neat little gimmick. I think it comes with a tool too. I can't remember. I took everything out. Let me see if this is it. Yeah, here's the other brake here. So it's got the holes at the top, and it's still got the grooves on the sides as well. And then that's the tool to take it out. This is what's known as the X frame. It's the largest frame Smith & Wesson makes. The only two guns I'm aware of that are chambered in it is the 460 Smith & Wesson Magnum, and the 500. And as you can see, there's only room for 5 rounds, so you better make them count. Even with the 535 grain bullets, you'll see how much extra space there is in the cylinder. About there. So the 700 grainer actually goes to the very end of the cylinder. Doesn't take much, and you seat it slightly deeper anyway. If anybody's curious about what the load data for this, I'm willing to share that recipe because I load these all the time, and I've probably put, realistically, I mean, I've owned it for 9 years, about 9 years now, and I think I've only got about 700 rounds through it. I mean, I don't get to shoot it very much. Most of the ranges in my area won't even let you bring it inside. The one that does, I have a deal with where I come in an hour before they close, and I have to wait until the lanes are pretty much empty, and then I get to have a go. And everyone at the range that works there wants to have a go, so I usually bring 100 rounds of this. But the cool thing is some of the outdoor ranges I go to, it gives me an opportunity to try other guns for no cost, because I load these myself. People will shoot a cylinder and think they just spent $50 of my money, which actually it's more like 15 or less for quite a few. I can't remember what the load cost for this was. I think it was like 39 cents a round or something after you factor the brass. But they'll usually let me shoot 2 or 3 mags of their gun, because they think it's fair. So it's cool. I bring this as like trade stock for trying out new guns, Anyway, so yeah, the gimmick on this one, unfluted cylinder, very heavy. Pretty sure it's carpenter steel, like Ruger uses, and then laser engraved the Bear logo on the side plate there. Red ramp front sight, LPA adjustable style rear with the white channel. Very good sight picture, very simple, no nonsense. Oh, I never told you the reason why I got this. I never had any intention to own this. What ended up happening is I watched a former YouTuber. I don't think she's done any videos for quite a while. I know she had health issues for years, and I also know that she recently got married, so congratulations. But Fate of Destiny had one of these, and she used to do Destiny's Kitchen, and she would shoot kitchen utensils, vintage ones, while dressed up like Molly Cleaver, I guess. But she shot that gun with a bullet that size, I think the same weight, maybe even the 700 grainer. She shot it off-handed, one-handed, and took out appliances. And I thought, well, hell, if she can do it with her left hand, I should be able to at least do that with both hands. So I bought it as a personal challenge to myself. Strangely enough, this was less expensive than my competitor. I think I paid $1,300 for this. Good luck finding one now, though. I don't think they actually make this particular model anymore, so whatever's out there is out there. I also wanted to get the emergency survival one, which was a 2-inch version, and it came with a unique bright orange grip, and it came in like a Pelican style box with like a survival kit and like a Mylar blanket and a fire starter and like a book on like how to avoid bears, which apparently I should have read that before I went to Alaska. But anyway, I think I've wasted enough of your time. There's really not a whole lot to talk about with this gun. I don't know if these are performance center guns because it comes in the blue box, but to be honest, the single action on this one is about 2.5 to 3 pounds already too, just like the competitor. Most Smiths are incredibly light single action. The double action, because it has to advance the cylinder so far, she's heavy. She's probably 10 pounds. Yeah, at least 10 pounds. But when you've got a, bear the size of a car coming at you, you don't tend to think about things like that. Anyway, if you want to get one of these, good luck. If you can get one for $1,300 to $1,500, I'd say you did fair. If you can find one where a guy bought it and took one shot with it and then said, this is way out of my league, and traded it in, and you got it at the discounted rate for trade-in, even better. So that's all I've got for you on this particular one. This is the M500-4 backpacker from Smith & Wesson in 500 Magnum. If you like what you see, maybe hit the like button down there. If you're new to my channel, maybe hit the subscribe button too. If you're a regular here, welcome. Or sorry, if you're new here, welcome, but if you're a regular, welcome back. Either way, check out my other playlists, see if my other interests might be of interest to you. That's all I've got for you for this one, guys. I didn't think it was going to run this long, but story time takes time, right? There it is. In all its glory. I'll catch you on the next one. Later.